want to give you a quick look at our user interface for the management portion of SOM Link, as Ron mentioned. You should see on my screen here the order screen. This would be the screen that you would be greeted with after you log into the application with your username and password. You can see this is the order screen with a list of all of the potentially suspicious orders that have been analyzed and then flagged and then sent to the management portion of the application. You can see all the orders listed here. They're listed with their trading partner, order ID, PO number, division, location ID, date, and status across the top there. Each of these columns in our browser you're able to sort by the columns. So if you are searching or need to sort all your records, you can do so with each of the different columns, either by order ID or if you want to see it by date, you could do that. Each of our orders are searchable, and we can filter this order screen using this document search portion of the browser on the left-hand side. So you could type in a specific order ID here and have that come up. You could search by PO number. You could search by the different statuses. We have a new status, which just means that the order is brand new to SOM management. No one's looked at it before. It hasn't been opened. No notes have been added. It hasn't been printed or anything like that. There's an open status, which would indicate that the order has been either printed, looked at. There could be some notes added to it, but it hasn't been acted on yet. Then we have three statuses that the user can give an order that would then be sent back to the ERP or financial system. The user could do some research, approve the order, and send that back to the ERP system. They could do their research and reject the order. The rejected status would then be sent back to the financial ERP system, and in that case, I would suspect that they would be reporting those rejected or suspicious orders to their DEA, their local DEA field office, and included in SOM is a DEA report that could be used to provide the DEA agency with the details of your research, all of your notes, all the actions that you've taken. And then the final status is an ERP adjust status, which, as Ron mentioned earlier, you can flag an order, send it back for ERP adjust, and that order could then be edited in the ERP system. Maybe after doing some of your research, you've been asked by your contact to decrease a quantity. So you could then decrease that quantity in the ERP or financial system. That order would then go through the statistical analysis again for the second time. And if the adjustment in quantity allows the order to be no longer suspicious, then it would get a approved status, and you'd be able to fulfill it. If it was flagged again for a second time, then that same order would appear here in the orders browser again. You can also search by trading partner ID. Division ID is also available if your company has different divisions or different warehouses possibly, or if you're a third-party logistics provider and maybe you're shipping for multiple companies or multiple divisions. And then finally, you can also search using a date range. As Ron mentioned earlier, there is an administration portion of the application. I'm going to bring up here, you can see only an administrator. There are 3 levels of users in SOM Link. An administrator would have access to this portion of the application. And an administrator is able to add users, edit users, delete users, and then finally set the email recipients. And I believe Ron mentioned that. When an order is flagged as suspicious, an email is sent out to all the users on this list saying user 1234 has been deemed suspicious for trading partner A. Please open up SOM link to investigate and act on this order. I'm going to take you back here to the order browser. And you can see we have one new order here. We also have several other orders. And you can select an order, open an order, or you can also print orders, print reports on an order. I'm going to open up this order that I've selected here. And you can see that we've now gone to a new screen called the Order Details screen. And this shows the details of that order that was deemed suspicious. It shows us each line item on the order, whether that specific line item was suspicious or not. So you can see here this order had 4 line items, and 2 were actually deemed suspicious. And then you can see in our reason flagged column there, test 1 flagged the first line item as a quantity issue, and test 2 there was a suspicious pattern that was intact for that item. So the order's been flagged for 2 reasons. Once the user logs on here and looks at the order details, they can do a couple different things. They can add an order note, and this note would be added for the entire order. And this note would, correspond and be applicable to the entire order. You can also attach files. So if you had an email or a text file or a spreadsheet or a PDF, anything like that, you could add a file here and attach it. And then when you're ready to, you can submit your order note. Once that order note has been submitted, as Ron mentioned, it is permanent. It's a permanent record and cannot be edited or deleted. You can also add notes at the item level. And to do that, you click this Add Note button. You can add an item note after talking to your contact for this order. Maybe they've said a new pain clinic has been added that they're supplying to, and you would make note of that here. Or you could do that for the entire order. You can also add attachments as well here. Then you also submit. Now you can see here that there's an indicator with a new button called View Notes, so you can view any notes that have been added for this item. We also have a view where you can view the order notes. And this is a nice view because it shows the hierarchy of all notes and all research done on this order. It'll show you the order notes at the top, then it'll show you the item notes below. So if there were different item notes for different items, they would all be listed here. You can also see which of your users has added the note. You can see the time they added the note. And then you can also download and open any attachments that other users have added. The final thing a user would do would be to act on these orders after their research has been done. As I talked about earlier, they could approve an order, send that back to the financial system, and then the order can be fulfilled. They could ERP adjust an order, then they would edit it in the financial ERP system, and that order would go through the validation process again. Or they could reject an order and then notify the DEA of this rejection and report the suspicious order to the DEA. One thing I failed to mention earlier was with those 3 different levels of users in SOM Link, there's an administrator that has access to the administration portion of things. There's also a researcher. That researcher can open orders, they can add notes, they can add attachments, but the researcher would not have access to the approved order, reject order, or ERP adjust order. A final user type, a validation user, is able to either approve, reject, or ERP adjust. And then we can return to the order screen here from our details screen. It's a nice, simple interface. It's fairly straightforward, but as you can see with all the search options and everything else, it's quite powerful.
Finally, to summarize, the product that we've developed, the people we've developed it for, and the objectives that are shared among manufacturers, distributors, compliance consultants, third-party logistics in response to DEA mandates. Our objective is to deliver a product that meets these criteria, that it's going to be a product that demonstrates best practices. The way we're going to do that is design and deliver a product that is built on our extensive experience with supply chain software automation. We are very fortunate to have a number of relationships with industry recognized authorities in compliance issues, as well as technology. We are developers, so we have some IT capability, and we have very strong supply chain history. Next, best of breed. We are developing our products with the idea that they should be scalable, that they should be locally adaptable, that is, that they are going to provide a template whereby the specific requirements of end users can be met easily without a lot of additional development effort involved, and that the product should be portable. By that we mean if your database were going to change from one platform to another, we have used state-of-the-art design tools in developing our SOM Link product so that it is not like hard-coded. It is entirely portable. It can go from one database to another so that you're not losing any of your investment like many legacy systems have. And that happens to be the reason that some of the big three are actually looking at us because they are interested in transitioning from a legacy AS400 to something a little more elegant like SQL. And SOM Link is capable of making that transition easily.